welcome to Legalese. My name is Vincent Perryman. I'm a local attorney with the law offices of J. Vincent Perryman. Each month, Legalese focuses on a wide range of legal issues and topics. Today's show covers frequently asked legal questions. With us now is William Jones of the Jones Law Firm. And I introduced you as William, but I'm going to call you Bill this entire time.
That's fine. That's what my friends call me. William's just a pretentious name that justifies my hourly rate.
Yeah, I know you and I both get like a bunch of repetitive questions and things like that, so I thought we ought to take an episode and just talk about frequently asked questions that we get as attorneys.
When we talked about this, I went back and looked at some AVO, which is a review site, some AVO questions that we'd gotten, and we posted it both on our Facebook and website, and we got some interesting questions. One of the, I think you and I had spoken beforehand, and to kind of set this up, it might be helpful for us to kind of give an overview of really what's there. What are we talking about? What is the legal system here for us?
In Shelby County, yeah, because that's one of the big questions we always get is people think, oh, well, General Sessions is a people's court. I can go down there and Judge Wampler will be on the bench or something of that nature, like what they've seen on TV, and it's just not the case.
Sure.
So, you know, and then people are like, well, what does probate do? What does Chancery do? What does Circuit Court do? So,
and you know, they're not all in the same area. I know you've experienced it. You're down there ready for court, and maybe you're in juvenile, and they're in the wrong place, or maybe you're in criminal, and they're over in circuit. So let's talk basically about how it's set up here in Shelby County. And Mississippi's kind of a different animal. I know we're right on the line, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
They've got judges down there that aren't even lawyers, so that's a different animal. Here in Shelby County, we've got our lowest court, basically our small claims court, is General Sessions. And I think that's where most of us made our, that's where we started out as baby guppy lawyers.
Right. At one time, it was hard to commit malpractice down there. Now it's a little easier to do it.
Yeah. The General Sessions is basically, it's going to be at 140 Adams, which is what we think of as the courthouse. It's the building that's marble, and it's gorgeous inside. General Sessions is going to have jurisdiction over cases dealing with money up to $25,000 and over any kind of personality. So if you had my jet or my helicopter or my cologne or whatever, and I wanted to repossess it from you, General Sessions can hear that. General Sessions, like I said, can also hear lawsuits up to $25,000.
And they do have exclusive jurisdiction when it comes to like leases, things like that. And it's not exclusive jurisdiction, but they've got an unlimited jurisdiction amount on those judgments.
That's right. So if you're a landlord or a tenant, that's where you're going to get evicted, or that's where you're going to start out.
Right, and it's the commercial leases that are going to get really big down there, and Blake Gibson is the one that schooled me on that once, so thank you, Blake.
But General Sessions is where if you and another individual have a falling out and the money is not large, that's where you're going to start. Something that I see over and over is people will buy a car off Craigslist, they'll go pick it up, they don't get the title, they can't register it, and they want to file suit to get the title back. General Sessions would be where you would do that. And part of the reason is because of the jurisdictional money limit. The other reason is because the filing fee down there it's cheap. And you can do it without an attorney. But like you said, it's not people's court. If you decide to go down there and you decide to try and get a car back or try and defend yourself from being evicted, you're going to be held to the same standard as an attorney would. So it's something that folks need to keep in mind when they're trying to decide whether or not they want to try their own case.
And that's actually a good segue into one of the questions that I get a lot of times. I'll have somebody come in and say, well, I went down there and I tried to represent myself and the judge said I couldn't. And I say, oh, so, and they always come back with, well, yeah, I'm an LLC. And it's one of these that if you are some sort of recognized state entity like an LLC, partnership, corporation, anything like that, you can't represent yourself.
Right.
You've got to have an attorney.
If you're if you're a small business owner, or you have gone out and set up an LLC for your real estate, yeah, you're gonna have to have an attorney. But just about in everything else, you can do it pro se. The old adage is, the person that has the person that has themselves for a lawyer is a fool. And
yeah, it has a fool for a client.
Fool for a client, and that's true. I mean, beating up as attorneys, when we go down and we're against somebody without counsel, it's like beating up one guy with a battalion of tanks. It's not that they're stupid. They just don't know the law like we know, and it allows us to manipulate.
They don't know the terms of art of what you can object to, things like that. They can't back it up with case law. They know kind of the difference between what's right and wrong, but they can't fit it into the guise of what the state legislature has given us.
And that's why I'm sure, as you do, when somebody comes in with a small case, and I'm talking 3,000 and under, they really need to decide, is this worth it? Because at that amount, they're not going to want to hire a lawyer. They're going to want to defend themselves. And are they capable of doing that? If it's more, then they have to figure out, okay, I probably don't have a contract to get attorney fees, so I'm going to have to pay it. Is this something I want to do? Now, from general sessions, you can appeal up to circuit court, and that kind of takes us up to the next level.
Right, and the one caveat there is that's where things have changed that makes the general session practice change, because you've got to put up a $500 bond to be able to appeal. Used to, you just pay $210 and you could get up to circuit court. No longer the case. And what's happened here in the past 2 years are Shelby County didn't have a procedure to put up that bond, so the bond was never put up, so all those cases have been dismissed. They've been found void.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the court's way of making sure that, if you're down in general sessions court and you don't like the verdict, you could just appeal. And I think that opened up the floodgates. That let a lot of cases go up there where it was just harassment. The other party knew they were wrong, but they said, I'll outspend you, I'll outweight you, I'll appeal this, and I'll take it up. I think the bond's a good idea. But like you said, there was some prejudice to a couple of parties. That
the state had already said it was a good idea. Our clerk's office just wasn't enforcing it.
Now, so circuit court is going to be, well, there's probate court. Shelby County is unique in that we've got a probate court system.
This is true.
And I don't really deal much in that area. I know you do, so I'll let you kind of cover that.
Well, probate's going to do certain things. They'll do name changes. They deal with death, so basically decedent's estates. Anything that's got to be, wills have to be approved to be a valid will, and then the court has to give somebody the authority to go in and handle all those assets. Without authority, if you transfer a dead individual's assets away and you don't have the authority by the court given to you, you've just done something illegal there.
The way I think of probate is it's for name changes and it's for wills and it's for will contest.
Right. And then there's also conservatorships and guardianships down there, but there's some concurrent jurisdiction with chancery in there. And we've got 30 seconds, so we can probably wrap up the probate and then we'll move on to the break.
Sure.
So with that, your conservatorships, that's when somebody can't make decisions for themselves, so they need someone to step in, make either financial decisions or medical decisions for them. And then a guardianship is just where you've got a minor that needs a guardian set up for them because their parents are deceased and things like that.
It's basically set up to where you can put somebody that's competent or of age in charge of somebody that maybe we're worried about them mishandling or hurting themselves or others, right?
Right, that's exactly it. And when we return, we'll continue our discussion about frequently asked legal questions. Please stay with us.